Perspectives are how you view things, your frame of reference, your point of view. Your point of view is the point in space in which you are viewing something. This is a new perspective. This is a new perspective. This is a new perspective. Perspectives give us information. Think about a 1,000-piece puzzle. You couldn't understand the entire puzzle with just one piece. You would need to compile 1,000 pieces together, correctly putting them in their places. Once you put those thousands of pieces together, you'll be able to see the whole picture. In the context of everything that life is, perspectives are infinite. You could never have enough perspectives because every single perspective you view things through gives you more and more information to understand things. Whenever I'm walking down the street, I might see someone crying on the side of the road. They're yelling at a manager of a store because they didn't get the right order that they had ordered. And I think in my head, gosh, that person is so emotional. They're so dramatic. Don't they understand that the world doesn't revolve around them? Why are they getting mad in public? Keep it together. Why don't you just hold it in? But maybe later on in the day, I turn on the TV and I see them on the news and they're talking about how the manager slept with their mom and then killed their dog. So they were yelling at their manager not because they got their food order wrong, but because the manager had killed their pet. Watching the TV and listening to that person talk about their perspective of what happened gave me more information, more perspective to understand the situation at hand. A lot of the times we make assumptions about situations based on our limited perspective. So that's why it's important to broaden our awareness and try to get as much information about the situation as we can before we make assumptions, or try not to initially judge in the first place because we know and humble ourselves that we are lacking information and perspective. Let's try to conceptualize perspectives through frames. These are frames. Our perspectives are our frame of reference. I see it as us framing our understanding of a situation, referencing the information that we currently have. If we're lacking perspective, we're going to be framing our understanding with very limited knowledge. If we have a lot of perspective, we might be framing our understanding with more knowledge to go off of. Understanding perspectives and the complexity and nuance within it is vital for having a fulfilling life. If we don't understand that there are infinite perspectives to see a lot of things from, we're going to end up choosing one perspective and thinking we have the whole picture. If you're looking at me from this perspective and I tell you there are no American flags in this house, you only have the information that I'm giving you. But if I were to switch your perspective even slightly, you would now see that there is an American flag right behind me. Perspectives give you information, so lacking perspective and only seeing one point of view will also restrict your information intake and you'll have less awareness than the people around you. If you only ever saw me from this one perspective and you were never even curious to try to look for others, you never would have known that I was lying to you and I was actually using your lack of awareness to my advantage. If we only ever stay within our one perspective of how to understand things and our viewpoint of seeing life, we might end up lacking compassion, empathy, and understanding for other people. So again, it's important to broaden your perspective and try to see things from multiple points of views and not just your own or the people around you. If you only ever surround yourself with one perspective, one viewpoint, one point of view, we'll only go off of the information we currently have based on the perspective we want to hold, so we will invalidate every other perspective that might even contradict the perspective that we're currently seeing. From one perspective, I am in great lighting right now, but then if we switch our perspective, suddenly everything's different. The lighting sucks, you can't even see me, you can only see the back perspective of what I look like right now. Every single perspective matters and every single perspective is valid, but some perspectives are more productive than others. If I made my video like this, that means more people might be drawn to me, but if all of my other videos were filmed from that other perspective, the quality just wouldn't be as great. So I choose this perspective to film from because it's just more productive. Now, our perspectives are important. Every single person on earth has different frames in which they view life through. Every single person has a different perspective. Think about a disco ball and how there are many mirrors on every single side of the disco ball. And every single side of the disco ball expresses light in a different way, and every single one gives you a different crystallized perspective of the room around it. It's the same way with humans and our perspectives. But now let's dive a little bit deeper and talk about perception. Perception is how we understand the information that we're given through the perspectives that we're viewing the world through. Our perception is built off of our biases, our experiences, our traumas, our understandings. All of these things compile into our perception, and our perception are the lenses that we view the world through. So I have my frames on right now. I'm seeing life through my perspective, but what lenses am I seeing the world through? Am I understanding life through a dimming lens? Am I going through life with rose-colored glasses on so that way I don't have to see the red flags that are on my path of life? Am I going through life and perceiving everything around me in a chill way? Every single person on earth has their own perceptions. Our perceptions are subjective. Think about perspectives as something that can be viewed objectively. Objectively meaning without personal influence, biases, or feelings. If I tell you my perspective of a situation, my perspective isn't less valid than another person's perspective, it's just different. If I show you this perspective and then a side perspective, both perspectives exist, they're just different. But perception will always be subjective. The way we perceive things will always be through a lens of our own experiences, our own understandings, our own biases, our own traumas, which all of those things construct our own individual understanding of life because we have our own experiences of what life is. is. If my best friend were to come over to me telling me, Steph, I don't like your hair today, it doesn't look that great, I could sit here being like, damn, I love my best friend. She's honest with me. She's open with me. Maybe there is something new I should do with my hair. Or maybe I'm secure in myself and I like how my hair looks, so it doesn't even matter what she thinks. Or maybe another person has a different perception of that. If their best friend were to walk up to them being like, hey, your hair looks a little silly today, is everything okay? They might look at that person and they might perceive that situation as an insult. You just insulted me. I can't even believe you would say something like that to me. Do you understand how that hurts my feelings? We all perceive things differently. When we go through different experiences in life, we have to take many things into consideration. The more perspective you have, the more you'll be able to understand each one individually. If you only ever view things through the perspective of your perception, then you're always going to be missing more information. You might be missing someone's intentions. You might be missing information that might help you understand why someone did what they did or said what they said. And perspectives will always come and go, and sometimes you get some before the others. Let's say you go through a breakup with your boyfriend and you initially perceive it as, oh, I don't even care. They weren't even good for me in the first place. I gave no fucks about them. I don't even care about them. But then you ponder on it. You've been gaining more clarity. You've been trying to think of it from a more clear mind. So you take off this lens and you think about it from a new perspective. And from this new perspective, things get a little bit more colorful. Oh, I still don't care about them, but I'm okay with what happened. And then a couple more weeks go on and your perception and your perspective are going to continuously change. After a couple months, you might start to see things through a more clear perspective with a lot more clarity. You might have the capacity to not only understand your perspective now, but also theirs. The more perspectives that you gather information from, the more clear your perceptions will be. One of the biggest contributors to our perception is our environment. Life is incredibly colorful and very complex. Throughout all of your experiences within your environment, you are constantly being given colors. Let's say someone was raised in an environment where they were taught nothing but black and white. They currently only have the capacity to view life through two colors. There is no nuance, there is no complexity. Every single situation that this individual person goes through in life will only ever be perceived through the lens of black or white, good or bad, right or wrong. There's no room for color. There's no room for more information. So I'm wearing a shirt right now that has the word green on it. Someone with this black and white face value perception of life, they'll see my shirt and be like, her shirt is green. This is undeniable. The evidence is right in front of me. There's no other information that I need because it's clear as day. Her shirt says green, so her shirt is green. But then if we were to remove this lens, someone with a black and white perception would never understand that this shirt is truly orange because they could only ever see things through that face value limited information perception. Once you add color, complexity, nuance to situations, you start to see that some things aren't what they seem. Just because something says something doesn't mean it means that something. There's always more information to take in consideration than just right or wrong, good or bad. Regressing to simplicity is something people tend to do because life is just overwhelming. It's overwhelming to discern between all of the contradictory information that's always presented to us. We want to express learned helplessness because there's so much to learn, there's so much to understand that I simply can't understand any of it. So I'm going to look at life through this very simple lens of black and white because it's going to be so much easier to digest information if I only look at it with these two colors. But we can't regress to simplicity because that's us regressing to a lack of awareness. Let's use another example. Let's say someone is going through life perceiving everything with rose-colored lens. You have a partner that you're sharing your life with that you very much love. You've been with this girl for months, years even. You think they're kind, you think they're understanding, you think they're reasonable, but for some reason, your friends still don't see them the way you see them. They don't understand like I understand. They don't know them like I know them. Let's say that this partner that we are speaking of has objectively acted in these ways. They have stolen candy from a baby before. They push disabled people out of wheelchairs for fun. They commit tax fraud. They hurt people for their own self-interest. They've murdered someone. Now you're in this relationship, and for the life of you, you don't understand why your friends can't justify that behavior like you do. Why can't my friends just understand that under all of those really, objectively stupid behaviors, there's still a really nice girl under there? They don't understand that underneath all of those things, she's an amazing girl. She treats me so well. Yes, she belittles me, and yes, she puts me down a lot, but she does it out of love. But the reason they perceive it that way is because they're wearing rose-colored glasses. If they don't perceive things through that rose coloring, their entire life changes. They have to find a new partner. They have to move out. They have to plan a new future for themselves. They have to ask themselves, who am I without this person? The second they shift their perception to truly understand why their friends don't see their partner the same way they see their partner, everything changes for them. It's easier to go through life with rose-colored glasses on with this rosy lens because it helps us ignore the red flags. We don't actually have to see things for what they are. We can see them for what we want them to be. When we attach our feelings to our perceptions, we will shift our perceptions to accommodate invalidate our feelings. But something we really have to understand is that our feelings aren't facts. Our feelings are just our perceptual understanding of what we are experiencing. We could feel like someone is insulting us, but they're actually doing something within our best interest. We can feel like someone's offending us, but they're actually just saying the truth. We can feel like someone's being rude, but they're just acknowledging something that we deny. We can feel like someone's being sensitive, but we're actually being insensitive to what they're experiencing. Our feelings are not facts, so if you attach your perceptions to your feelings can be manipulated, which manipulates your perception. And trust me, I know this all too well. I have something called borderline personality disorder. I was treated a certain way all throughout my life, so I was taught to perceive the world through a very black and white way of thinking. So anytime I get emotionally dysregulated, my perceptions are constantly shifting along with how I'm feeling in the moment. I might have someone in my life that I truly love, I truly care about. I have my best friend Emma that I'm very secure with, and we have a great relationship. But then if I start to perceive abandonment, meaning I'm perceiving her actions, even if this is not objectively what her actions are saying or meaning, I perceive her to be acting in a way that might lead to her abandoning me, I will now create this self-fulfilling prophecy. I will now split on her and attach my feelings to my perception, and I will now perceive her as unworthy. Actually, I don't care about you. Actually, we're not even best friends because I couldn't care less for you, Emma. You're a shitty friend and I never cared about you in the first place. You suck. Because I'm terrified. I'm fearful of getting my feelings hurt, so I protect my feelings, and instead of seeing reality for what it is, I will shift reality to be what I need it to be in the moment to protect myself. I will shift my perception to save myself from hurt, even though that's hurting me more in the long run than what it might be doing for me in the short term. So I understand attaching your feelings to your perceptions and your perceptions constantly shifting based on how you're feeling. But this is something I have actively worked on and something I've actively put effort into. I've had to educate myself about this, and now I'm educating you guys about it because it helped me understand the way I think and the way I move. Understanding these simple concepts can help you heal and navigate life in a more efficient way. I no longer live my life accommodating my fears and accommodating my feelings because I know that feelings are meant to be felt and fears are meant to be faced, and this is helping me grow as a person and heal from my borderline personality disorder. Change is scary, and seeing things through different perspectives not only humbles us, but gives us more information, which gives us more awareness, which gives us more to deal with. It's inefficient and unproductive to only ever perceive life through a lens of black and white or rose coloring. Just because you're using these lenses to suppress your understanding doesn't mean the world around you is going to do the same. Us trying to protect our feelings so that way we can protect our perceptions is only causing more harm in the long run. Don't fall into willful ignorance and learned helplessness because it makes it easier for you. Ignorance isn't bliss, it's just lack of awareness. Anyways, my name is Steph. My next video is going to be about feelings and emotions. So subscribe and stay tuned for the next video, or don't. I have autism, so anytime I get a demand, I always reject it. So don't do it if you don't want to do it. But all I truly do ask is that you leave this video knowing that you are sexy, you are valid, and you are so loved, and I will see you in the next video.
Hope you like my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber?